You tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need. We give you outspoken thoughts about all the headlines. We talk baseball, football, hockey, and more. No matter the topic, we cover it. Get ready for the show and keep it outspoken. Keep it outspoken. We keep it outspoken only on the Sportscast. Tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need.
Hey guys, welcome in. It's episode 207, Around the Horn edition to the Outspoken Network. Craig, how's it going, brother?
Howdy, sir.
All right, guys, this is called Around the Horn edition because we are going around everything. We've got some football news. We've got playoffs on NBA hockey. We have golf news, yes, and we also got a little bit of soccer news thrown in there at the end. So, let's go ahead and jump into it here. We're going to jump into the NBA playoffs. Craig, have you been able to watch the NBA playoffs?
Not a little. I mean, I've seen highlights. I haven't seen the actual games because they're during the week, and so I haven't caught any of those. But
It's been nice to be off this week on vacation, so I'm able to catch those games. I watched the game last night. The Nuggets. It was Wednesday night. Sorry, Wednesday night. Game 3, the Nuggets take over in a dominant win. They had
two 30-point triple doubles.
The first ever
Yeah.
for two teammates to have 30-point triple doubles in NBA Finals. And not only that, they were up by 21 at one point. Christian Braun, rookie guard, went off and scored 15 fourth quarter points. I don't know. I haven't heard anybody come to me and say Miami's the better basketball team. They think Miami's going to win this. I think Denver's the dominant team. I think they're the best team in basketball. They've got the best player in basketball. Do you see a way Miami wins the series, Craig? Do you think there's a way they can climb back in it with their injuries?
I would say no, but Eric Spoelstra, every time I say no, has proven me wrong. He is the best in-game adjustment coach that I've seen in the longest time, and he doesn't get enough credit for it. So I would like to see his adjustment to this and see what happens. I think Miami has to win tonight to have any hope and even it up and make it a 3-game series. If they go down 3-1, I think they're in trouble, especially going back to Denver. Actually, I think the NBA Finals is 2-3-2, but I'd have to look it up. But anyway, the bottom line is I think Miami is in a backs-against-the-wall must-win situation, and the role guys are going to have to step up. Jimmy Butler has done it, a one-man wrecking crew. You thought maybe Tyler Hero was going to come and save the day, and it appears that he's had some rehab setbacks, and he basically says he doesn't want to upset what the team has done without him, and he doesn't want to upset the rhythm and what they've worked so hard for. So he's planning on just shutting it down and playing next year. So there's that.
And Robinson hasn't been there shooting those threes.
He's been here and there, but not what he was all year. They had that rookie, the guy that carried him the first game. But other than that, it's just I think Denver's too deep. Joker is proving why he should have been the MVP, why he's the best in basketball right now, and he's Jamal Murray's healthy for the first time. See, they haven't had them together. It's just been a one-man wrecking crew. And Jamal Murray, I mean, he's got a big patch on his hand where he fell and ate the floor, and he's still just playing. It's the NBA Finals, and these guys are hungry, and I think Denver wins it. I said Denver in 5 to begin with.
Yeah, 5 or 6. Game 4 is tonight, 7:30. So I look forward to watching that and going from there. But just Denver's just hitting their strides. They've had Murray and Joker together for a while, but we haven't seen it just because of the injuries. Murray hasn't been healthy, and now we're finally seeing it. And they're on a mission. And right now, I just don't think there's a way, going against or saying to yourself that Jimmy Butler can't win this series is not a smart move. But we'll see if they can. If they win this game tonight, there's hope. But if they don't, then it's pretty much a done deal. I tuned in last night to NHL hockey. I tuned in for Carolina. I want this. I don't really care who wins the series, Craig. To me in NHL, I just want a good series. I wanted Carolina to win last night because the fact if they go down 3-0, this series is basically over. We saw it with Dallas. Vegas is too good of a team. And it's just hard to climb out of a 3-0 series. Everyone knows that. But turned it on last night in overtime.
It's not Carolina, it's Florida. So
yeah. Oh, my bad, Florida.
Yeah.
Why am I saying Carolina? Terrible. My bad. That's why you're the hockey guy. But Florida, they win the series, or they win the game last night in overtime.
Yeah, it was a must win. Backs against the wall. I think the 10 days off hurt them. I think I was afraid of that, and they kind of went into vacation mode, and they're just now coming back out of it. Vegas ran their goalie in for the first time in the playoffs. This guy has stood on his head from the last week of the regular season all the way through the playoffs. He was the favorite to be the Conn Smythe winner, even if they didn't win the series up until they run him with 7 goals the other night. And so I think, again, same situation is, again, tomorrow night. Florida has got to win, because if you go down 3-1 going back to Vegas, it's church. And when it comes into the Stanley Cup, it's different when you get a 3-game, when the first team gets to 3, because the Cup's in the building. It's not, like, oh, we're going to win the series. When the Cup enters the arena, the atmosphere changes. It's the most hallowed trophy in sports is here's a cup. It's got the name of everybody that's ever won it on it. You've got guys. This is the first for both of these teams. So this is 1,000,000% means more to these guys than anything. So when they feel the energy from that being in the building, I don't think whoever gets there first, I don't think loses that opportunity and deal. So
correct me if I'm wrong, Craig. From what I've seen for both teams, to me, Florida is the team that they're not going to score. I haven't seen a game where they've scored 7, 8 points, 6 points, but just threw it on them. They play a lot of good defense. They win games by 1 point. Like when they swept Carolina, they won all those games by 1 point. For me, for Carolina's going to play really good defense, and I think they're going to, if they're winning these games, it's going to be that by 1 goal type thing, where Vegas has the offense to kind of put it on you.
Yeah, well, Florida's more of a speed team. They go fast up, and they want to get in the zone. They want to play the puck at their end. They want to keep the puck at their end. Vegas is more of a, like I was telling Jeff, Vegas, if you watch Vegas, their defensemen will never be out of position. Never. It makes it very difficult to get in the zone and Florida's strong suit is like rebound goals that hit the goalie, come back out, and they put it back in. When you're playing Vegas, you don't get those because the defensemen are in the right spots. If the goalie hits and lets up a thing, they're clearing the puck and clearing it away from him, getting out of harm's way, allowing the goalie to reset and see and focus. They get in front of the goalie and don't allow a lot of screens, don't allow a lot of blocks, don't allow a lot of vision block shots. So Aiden Hill is able to see the puck come in because he's not blocked. They're not letting guys get in on him and get in front of him. Vegas is just a very, very, that's what Butch Cassidy does when his coaching is guys are in position. Passing is very important. Stick to stick. You don't see Vegas miss when they pass the puck. They don't, that went down into the neutral zone for icing because we missed the guy by 10 feet. You just don't see that with Vegas. It's tape to tape to tape, and they set guys up, and that's how they get these wide open goals and these break-ins on the goalie. And Bobovich has had a amazing playoffs, and Vegas is making him look like the goalie he was, a majority of the season. People forget because of the magic run they're on. The Panthers were an 8 seed and made the playoffs on the last day of the season. So, let's not forget that what they've done has been really incredible. This isn't the team that should have been here. Mike, your microphone.
That's what makes hockey so great, Craig, is you don't see that happen a lot in other sports. We're witnessing right now in the NBA with the 8 seed Miami Heat being there. That was more of a team to me that underachieved in the regular season. But hockey, just get in and anything could happen.
If you get the Heater goalie, then you can do anything.
We all thought the Boston Bruins were going to be in the championship and win it and win 4-0 throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
And they didn't make it out of the first round.
No.
Hockey playoffs is fantastic. So with a team like that, with Florida that knows they've been playing playoff hockey, 3 weeks before the season was over?
Yes.
So they know what it takes to win. I don't think they feel they maybe feel a little pressure, but I don't think they're going to let it get to them. They go out and play their game, and I just hope for a good series. I'm hoping it comes down to 7 games and
nice.
Let the better team win. So
yeah.
Well, we have a little bit of baseball news because, like I said, we're real early. That the Rangers are the best team in baseball right now. I don't think you can really argue that. But
Tampa,
they struck out some. They struck out some bad news the other day. As DeGrom is out for the year, going to miss some of next year too with Tommy John surgery.
I think he misses almost all of next year. It's a calendar year, and that's if everything goes right. This is number 2 for him.
Not looking good.
No.
The only good thing is the Rangers haven't needed him right now.
Yes.
Will we need him later in the playoffs, with a playoff stretch, or later down probably. There's got to come a point where we come back to the norm a little bit for the Texas Rangers. Right now, we're on a really good run. We're on a really good high. We're going to hit that low in the season. Every team goes through it. Where a DeGrom could help us come out of it. So we're going to see what we're made of when we start losing a couple series, losing some games, and really struggle. But right now, for the Rangers, there's not much negative you could say about him except the DeGrom thing. And DeGrom, when we got him, I was optimistic, Craig. I know he's injured. I know he's going to be hurt a lot. I was expecting him to miss some time. I was expecting him to miss almost a full year and another full year. No. So now that contract looks terrible. But
hold on, though. It doesn't. They wrote in, the Rangers put a disclaimer in to where if he has Tommy John in the first 2 seasons, they can add another year to the contract. So this year gets voided, but another year gets added to the end because when they wrote it to where they protected themselves to where they can add another year of control to the end of the contract. So something tells me that they had an idea this was coming, or a possibility of this before, that maybe one of their doctors saw something and said, hey, not there yet, but might want to put a clause in here. And listen, They haven't needed him, and you only hope that you don't lose another starter.
Yeah.
You don't lose Nathan Eovaldi. You don't lose
John
Martin
Gray's been
Perez. You
fantastic.
don't lose John Gray. But this changes your playoff rotation because when you were in the playoffs, you had the best two pitchers in the series, 1 and 2, and there wasn't really many people in the American League that were going to match that.
Yeah.
Well, now Eovaldi has to match up against a 1. Well, that's okay because he's kind of a 1 himself.
Been killing it.
But is Martin Perez a 2?
No.
Is John Gray a 3? No, they're
John
not.
Gray is better
And
right
so-
now than Martin Perez. In
And
my
so
opinion.
now you've got guys that where you would have had the upper hand in the first 2 or 3 games. You have it maybe in 1, but you lose the advantage now in 2 and 3. This season is very reminiscent of 2 years ago when the San Francisco Giants had not a lot of big names and won 107 games, the biggest win in franchise history, and nobody can tell you why.
Yeah.
Nobody could tell you why. The guys they put in the clubhouse all melded together, and they had a great season. They beat the Titan Dodgers. They had to win 107 games to do it because the Dodgers won 105. So, it was like the last game of the season that they found out. And I think you're going to have a similar situation with Houston. You've won all these games. You continue winning, and you've just won 9 of 11. You just swept, the Mariners. You just won 3 of 4 of the Cardinals, and you're still only 4 back. You're still only 4 up on Houston because they keep winning. So, I think it's going to go down to the end of the season. I think you're going to need to win these head-to-head games. I wanted to watch that series starting tonight, because they're playing Tampa, and that's going to be a very, very good high bar set in the deal. To see
They're down 4-1 right now on the
there
fourth.
you go. And Glass now was pitching. So there you go. But I think they've done real well, and I think and they've done it not the way you normally do it. You normally draft. You normally build from the minor leagues. They didn't do that. They ran John Daniels out of here for not being a great general manager. But let's keep in mind that on his way out, he got you Nate Lowe, who's really good.
Absolutely.
He got you, a guy named Adolis Garcia. Oh, look, he's your center fielder for the future. He got you, Seager. He got you.
Seager's been on fire lately.
And so he left your team in a real good position that Chris Young's getting a lot of credit for, and I love Chris Young. But JD on the way out the door gave him the keys, and it may have looked like a beater, but under the hood, it looked really.
They had that Hemi in there smoking.
Looked really good. So
I saw an article.
I feel bad for JD, getting run out the door, and it really wasn't as bad as it looked.
I saw an article the other day that said, and I think the fan talked about it too, is that this still has Josh Daniels' fingerprints all over it. So
very much so.
Josh Daniels is a very sore subject for a lot of Ranger fans. You either loved him or you hated him.
100%.
In my opinion, I liked him. I thought the ownership was what held him back from spending money.
And that's what I said. People wouldn't understand. Well, John Daniels never built a winner. You can't build it with the lowest payroll in baseball. I mean, there's one team that wins continuously with the lowest payroll in baseball, and that's called the Tampa Bay Rays, and not many teams can do that.
Josh Daniels got us the most success we've seen in Texas Rangers history.
He went to the World Series back to back.
That right there is enough said in our franchise. So history.
And 2 more years with Bannister, that a fluke deal in Toronto when you lose that series, and the next year you have a good playoff run and you lose in a wild card playoff game. Like, I mean, people forget that.
Yeah, and they want people are so it's championship or bust, and I can't stand that type of thinking.
Well, I can understand that if you're the Yankees, when
Yeah.
you've had a bunch of World Series,
Right.
or if you're the Giants and you've won 3 in 5 years. But the Texas Rangers have never won a World Series. So why is it championship or bust? Why isn't it just playoffs?
Yeah.
You know, why is the bar got to be set to a set that you've never been?
Yep.
You know, it's just like the Dallas Cowboys. We're setting the bar to the Super Bowl. How about we set it at the NFC Championship first? You know,
I've always said it as back-to-back.
Yeah, how about we win a division?
First.
You know, I mean these unexpected expectations for guys. I mean, Bannister and the other guy from the Dodgers that was the manager. These guys get run out of town, and they were given nothing to manage.
Oh,
and they
what's
were
his
winning.
face? Oh, yes, I liked him. I
loved him.
Woodward. I love the guy.
Woody just
he got nothing.
Nothing. Here's pennies, and I need you to make it into gold.
Give me a diamond out of this.
I'm trying, guys, but I can't. I'm rubbing together. Not so much, over here. So,
but going forward, as a Ranger fan myself, looking at this year, I hope we're good.
Well, here's
let's
the
hope
deal.
we're good. I just want something to watch. There's no argument. We can't argue. We can't look at this year so far and go, it was terrible, or we didn't meet expectations, because I don't think my expectations weren't real high going.
Vegas's over under was 81.5.
Yeah,
and they're going to hit that in August.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see some some moves by the deadline. I want to see some.
Well, and that's the best thing that could have happened is DeGrom to go down now.
Yeah.
Could you imagine him to try to rehab this, and then he goes down on August 2nd, and they go, oh, well, the trade deadline was August 1st. Guess what? Now we can't trade for somebody. Yeah. At least now
they can trade for someone. Get an
arm. Yeah,
we got to get some bullpen arms in here. That's our biggest flaw right now. But look, it's been absolute fabulous year for the Texas Rangers and the fans. And if you say otherwise, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean,
Cleveland's got 2 guys that you could go get right now because they're selling.
Yeah. All right, let's jump over to a little NFL here. We've got some NFL news as it's getting close to OTAs and getting into the best part of the year where football starts back up again. I did a solo shot over this last week, and I talked about the question, Craig, was, is this year, going into this year, do we have more QB question marks than we've seen before? And my answer to that was kind of yes, because if you go through the teams, there's a lot of question marks. But one of those question marks apparently is going to be answered, because the question mark was 49ers. And the 49ers say that Brock Purdy will start and be ready by game 1 of the season. That's interesting. The news before that was he might miss half the season. Season. They went out and got Sam Darnold. We don't know what they're doing with Trey Lance. Does he even have a chance to get the starting position? Have no clue. To now, Purdy is the guy. What are we doing with Trey Lance, 49ers? You draft this guy number 1, and it doesn't. I just don't. I mean, what are we doing? You wouldn't hire Sam Darnold. Are you just out? Are they out on Trey Lance? A lot of questions there. But
he's number 2 on their depth chart on ESPN. But you're paying him a lot of money to sit there and hold a clipboard.
And what are they paying Sam Darnold? What is he, number 3?
Yeah, Darnold's 3. But I think he probably took a league minimum deal. But you're paying your number 1 guy peanuts because he was Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
Literally. I don't understand. We talked about this when they drafted him. There's one person that was in and one person that was out, and we don't know who was which. We don't know whether it was the head coach Shanahan that was in and got his wish, or whether it was the GM in Lynch that got his wish.
Yep.
Somebody's all in on Lance and somebody's all out, and somebody's winning and somebody's losing. We don't know who is going to be the guy that
it's going to be someone
takes the heat. That you'll find out soon enough, when Trey Lance gets traded and somebody gets cut loose, that was the Trey Lance guy, because you gave up a lot of things, draft picks and currency, and you gave up a lot to get Trey Lance, and you're not gonna even. He played 4 games, and they're like, well, we're out on that.
They haven't given him a chance.
No, well, they gave him 4
At
games.
all.
They gave him 4
He
games.
broke his ankle.
He broke his and they're like, well, thank God for that, because we didn't like the way it was going anyway. So, and now they found this guy by total accident, because the other guy gets hurt, and
Purdy now.
No, well, the guy that's in L.A. right now.
Stafford?
No, the Raiders. Jimmy Garoppolo. Garoppolo gets
Vegas?
hurt. Yeah. And so Garoppolo gets hurt, and they find this guy by complete and total accident. They find out that they got this guy, and they're like, well, look what we got here.
Brock Purdy, to me, played fantastic last year when his number was called on. I'm not selling the farm for him yet, though. I want to see him do it again.
That's what I'm saying. Now that we have some tape on him, let's see what he does. Now,
I think the head coach, Shanahan's probably – there's no ifs or buts. He is one of the best in the league. And his system is set up to – I think you could throw any quarterback in there and have him
appears that way.
Successful.
Except your name, Trey Lance.
Unless your name –
because they weren't real successful the 4 games he played.
And maybe he does. Maybe the coach said, I don't like this guy. Who cares?
Well, and that's what my question is a work ethic or a comprehension problem that Shanahan's going, I don't care what I do. He can't get it. He can't pick it up. He can't execute it. And everybody else can. If you can execute it, then you'll be successful. But if you can't execute it and can't learn it.
And I still think, regardless, if Brock Purdy's starting game 1, I guess his arm is fine now. I don't know. Yeah, I think he's still got questions there at the quarterback position. Can he do this again? Can he have this success?
And that's why they haven't moved on from Lance yet.
Yeah, was it a one-hit wonder? I think Sam Darnold was there just in case someone goes down again. But Dalvin Cook. This is an interesting one. It was released by the Minnesota Vikings officially. Rumors spreading. Who do you think should go get him? I already got a team I know who should go get him.
Well, there's 2 teams that were involved in very in-depth trade discussions, and it was supposed to be. I have not heard today officially whether they actually released him, but it was supposed to be, if the trade didn't go through by today, that there was officially going to cut him loose today.
Let me go look it up, but I believe they officially released Dalvin Cook.
So I think Buffalo would be a wonderful spot, and I think Miami would be a great spot because I think they're running back away. Now it came out today that Dallas and
does Vikings release Dalvin Cook?
Dallas and another team, I believe Carolina maybe, were involved. That they thought they would go get him. I don't think Dallas. It's all going to depend. It will all depend on what Dalvin Cook wants to do. Is the money that Minnesota is going to give him enough, and then he'll go sign a league minimum deal somewhere, and that'll be fine? Or does he want one last payday before to ride off into the sunset, and he really doesn't care? He wants the money rather than he does.
He wants the money.
And if that's the case, then there's that takes about half your teams out. Dallas has $16.53 million in available cap, but they still have to get a deal done with CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott. Like, there's 3 big names that need to be done, and you can't use the money to get another running back. Buffalo would be a wonderful, wonderful spot for him to give Josh Allen a absolute running piece that he's been missing. It looks like Cincinnati is going to hold on to Mixon. They can't get rid of him. They can't trade him. They can't cut him. So it looks like he's going to stay theirs. But that would have been a very good spot for him had Mixon been, out because of his behavioral troubles. Philadelphia let a lot of their running backs go, so keep an eye on them.
That they would be an interesting piece because they have going all in.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, if I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, I'm screaming, go get him. What are we waiting on? Buffalo will be a perfect spot. Dalvin Cook's an absolute beast of a running back. He can catch the ball in the backfield. He will run you over. He runs between the numbers. He's a great running back. His one problem is his injury issues. He's had some health issues. But when you're running back, you're going to get banged up. Josh Allen has not had a true running back in a long time. They have not given him ever a true running threat where people have to be on their heels and look out for
was
that
as
running
close
back.
as he got, but that's really not. He's a 2 or 3 in any other system.
Go out there and get them. Go out there and get them, Buffalo. If you want to get to say this is going to be the next piece to get us over that hump, to run the ball in cold weather games, to tire out defenses in those cold winter games in December, I'm all in. Miami would be a good spot too.
Especially now if there's no compensation. If he's released and there's no compensation, then the deal should have been done this afternoon.
Yeah, if you're a Buffalo fan, I don't see why you wouldn't want this guy. Buffalo should be trying to make it happen. And I think at this point in their careers, I'd rather have him than Tennessee guy, Derrick Henry. Yeah. I mean, Derrick Henry's –
they're both the same age, but Derrick's been used way more.
He's been used way more. He's
really seems to be washed up.
His will run out before Dalvin Cook's will.
Oh, absolutely.
Go get it done, Buffalo.
I mean, Zeke, Henry, those guys are on the backside. Whereas if I don't have any problem giving Dalvin Cook 2 or 3 years. I don't have any problem in that.
Zeke's done. I mean,
yeah.
Zeke's done. Yeah. 2 players, Greg Newsome and Perry Winfrey, were robbed at gunpoint the other night, and someone stole their vehicle.
By six guys.
6 guys? By 6 guys.
Yeah. I
didn't see that part. I just saw robbed at gunpoint.
Yeah.
They stole their vehicle. The good thing is no one was hurt, so that's the good thing of it. It's not. I mean, that's never a good thing. But the good news is that neither one's hurt.
Crazy. Is it wrong place, wrong time? Did they owe these guys money? Do we need to look into these guys for gambling now because maybe they were in a gambling debt? Like, I don't know.
There's some players, speaking of gambling, and there's more to come on that. There's got to be more to come on that gambling thing. I forget who the player was.
You heard it in the Indianapolis safety/kick returner, right?
Could be gone for the rest of his career. Oh, like they're supposed to be suspending him
because he was betting on his own team,
and he was betting.
Rose Jr. over here.
He bet over 100 games.
Yeah.
Going to end his career. Or said you're done.
How it wouldn't? I don't have any idea. I mean, the other guys that were doing it, they were doing it on other sports, but they were just doing it from the team facility. This guy was doing it on his own team in games that he was playing in. That changes the dynamic of the entire NFL.
And we talked about before, if you're going to mess with the integrity of the game, you're going to get the hammer down. Doesn't matter what it is. Now, this is going to be the dark cloud over the NFL. Steroids was the dark cloud over baseball. This is going to be the dark cloud over the NFL. I'm waiting for that big name to drop. I'm waiting for that star quarterback. Something. But did you hear? I need to look more into this. But I heard they were using Tom Brady to kind of poke around the locker room and ask about gambling, and they were recording his stuff. Did you hear about that?
No. But
I need to look more into that before we start escalating some things here, but that's pretty interesting. But there's more to come on that. There's got to be, and it's interesting that it's come out now that the NFL is all about you gambling on their sport. So it's kind of ironic a little bit.
Yeah,
there,
you
but.
sign the deals with the gambling for advertising, and then you get onto your players for doing it. It's very confusing.
All right, Craig. Well, you know more about golf than I do. Go ahead and explain this golf tour, the live,
Well,
and
a merger that was unexpected by everybody, including the people that were involved in it, happened earlier in the week, and it came out of nowhere. Um, this live tour financed by the Personal Independence Fund of the Saudi Arabian oil money had just came out of nowhere, and there was rumors of another tour starting and money being involved. Well, some of the big names, it started with Mickelson, and the Saudi Arabian tour just started money whipping people. They were starting to give people more money than they had made their entire career on the PGA Tour. And so the PGA Tour starts to threaten these guys. We'll pull your PGA card. You'll never be allowed to play in our tournaments. This, that, the other. Well, and the president of the PGA says, I will never sell as long as I'm the president of the PGA. We have no worries about selling. And guys like Tiger, guys like Rory, guys, they all stayed firm and stayed with the PGA and said, I don't care how much money you offer me, I'm not going. Well, now it seems like all they missed out on was hundreds of millions of dollars, because the PGA
yeah.
Tour and Live are now one, and it's not official. There's still some tape to be cut and thing. But what basically this was about was this was going to go to court. Saudi Arabia and the personal fund was going to take this to court. Well, the PGA saw that and said, well, first of all, we don't want our books public knowledge because we got some stuff that we don't want everybody to see.
Yeah.
So just like when Major League Baseball, they were talking about, hey, we're going to make the books public knowledge where everybody can see the owner's finances. They were like, whatever the players want, they get. All right, guys, let's go. And nobody wants, no owner. There's not an owner in football. There's not an owner in
No, it's going to happen to
basketball.
Jerry Jones too.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody wants what they really make to be known, how they really make it to be known. So when you start talking, so when you start talking about making the finances public, the PGA Tour said, we're not doing that. And when you talk about oil money, the PGA Tour doesn't have enough money to go into court and compete with guys that have that kind of money. They would go bankrupt. They would go bottoms up. So to prevent going bottoms up and to be allowed to still have a PGA Tour, Saudi threw him an olive branch and said, we'll merge. And the guy from the PGA Tour said, I had no choice. And he caved. Probably going to cost him his job. Probably going to get voted out. The players from the PGA Tour are livid because they did the honorable thing and took a stand and said, we'll stay with my PGA Tour. PGA is my life. I earned all my earnings. I didn't have, nothing was given to me. I earned everything I have. And the guys from the Live Tour, all they did is sign their name on the dotted line and got more money than they ever made in their career. And they're still getting to play. And now that they were banned from the PGA and told you can't play this event and can't play that event and can't play this event, well, guess what? Now that they're merged, they're back in and they can play all the events again. So the guys that went over and crossed over to the dark side lost nothing, absolutely nothing. And they're make all the money and get to play all the tournaments. And so the PGA Tour needs to do something, whether it makes these guys lifetime members to where they're exempt and they don't have to qualify to play in these tournaments or anything. They need to do something for the guys that stood fast and were loyal to the PGA Tour, because they can't compete money-wise. They can't give them the money. So they need to do something for these guys that stayed loyal and make it worth their while, that before this merger goes through and the guys get nothing. So it's a crazy thing. You just never saw it coming. And when guys are finding out they're opening on Twitter and they're showing up to go golf in a tournament, and the guys from the Golf Digest are interviewing them, they go, "Hey, what do you think about this merger?" And they're like, "What are you talking about?" They're like, "Well, yeah, you guys in the Live are merged now." And they're like, we did what? Nobody knew. Like 5 guys that were in the room were the only people that knew.
Right.
And it's insane.
Speaking of insane, let's talk a little soccer here. I don't know much about soccer. Messi, I know who Messi is though. He's joining the MLS. Inter Miami is a lucky team to get him, so Miami's going to get him. And what I took away from this is the cheapest ticket before Messi was $27, and now the cheapest ticket after the day after they got Messi is $420. So it's the Messi effect.
Well, do we know why that would be the Messi effect?
Because he's the Michael Jordan.
Not only is that, but you somehow have to pay the money that you.
Well, yeah, they got to pay for the contract.
used to get Messi, so therefore we need some ticket prices and concession prices to go up to get that. The
hot dog went from $1 to $8.
The guy is the greatest to play. I mean, Ronaldo, Messi. You hear the argument. It really isn't one. He's great. And he puts people in the seats. And soccer's not. I mean, it's not unable to watch. You know, I would follow the World Cup. I heard that the team in Dallas is amazing to go watch. I don't know. I've never been out there, but FC Dallas is supposed to be really interesting. And
only time I watch soccer is during the World Olympics.
Yeah.
And that's about it. I'm not a big fan of it. I love Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso is a fantastic show. But
there's not as much action as there is in hockey or baseball or basketball. You know, a lot of games are 1-0. You know, you might go 90 minutes and deal, but I mean, it's up and down and up and down, and
it's the most popular sport in the world. So
yeah, absolutely, and fan bases are. You want to talk about a passionate fan base?
Rabid.
I mean,
they will kill you. I mean,
yeah. I mean, you talk about the wrong. You talk about the wrong team and say the wrong thing, and you watch out.
It's life or death over there.
Yeah, and so absolutely a good sign for. I mean, if it makes this team instantly relevant.
Oh yeah, it puts them on the map if they weren't before. That this talk was for you, Abel. If you're listening, so
yeah.
All right, Craig. Well, we kind of went. It's that time of year where sports has died down a little bit before we get to football, so we kind of blew through this a little quickly, but that's all right. It's that time that I ask you, what is in your locker, sir?
I'm going to finish up a long but very successful week at the office. And then this weekend, I'm not going to do much of just going to kind of watch the Stanley Cup tomorrow night. There's a big UFC fight tomorrow night. Amanda Nunes fights, and you always watch that. And she is probably the best since Ronda Rousey ever came in, and she's even outdone that. So we'll watch that, and then just really relax and kind of soak in a week that ended a whole lot better than I expected. And there'll be more to come on that here in the near future, but very, very happy and very, very excited for what is to come in the following weeks at work. So what about you? What do you got in your locker?
All right, sir. Thanks for asking me. I've been on vacation this week. We went. It was I took this week off because my oldest daughter turned 10. Darla, it's her birthday, and we decided to 10-year-old birthday. We'd take her out and make her feel special. We took her to a hotel on Friday night after work last week, and got the hotel room, some one-on-one time with her. We bought her a Nintendo Switch that she's always wanted, a Nintendo Switch, and we took her to the next day. She's been into dinosaurs lately. She wanted a dinosaur birthday party. So we took her to the Florida Museum, and it was Dino Day, and they had paleontologists there and showing fossils, and we had a blast there. And we took her to see the new Spider-Man movie that night, and wherever she wanted to go eat. So we went to Coco Shrimp and ate there as well. Kind of spoiled her for her birthday, and then her other request was she wanted to go to her Uncle David's house, who lives in Mineola, Texas, and we just got back tonight about 5:30ish. From there. Mineola is 2 hours east Texas, but he has 10 acres of land. He's got a pool she wanted to go swimming in. So we were out there since Wednesday, so it's nice to go out there and visit and get away a little bit and relax. Other than that, podcast tonight, we got the basketball game. And I've been watching, Craig. I watched the first part of it, the 30 for 30 for the American Gladiators. And that is fantastic. I'm going to watch the second half probably tonight or tomorrow, and probably possibly throw out a little episode on it and go over that. But that was fantastic to watch if you growing up back in the 80s and 90s, that American Gladiators was the best.
Saturday night staple, bro. Staying up till midnight to watch American Gladiators.
So great. So this is the behind the scenes of that show and how shady it really was, and you learn a lot of different things.
I can imagine.
So that's all kind of what I'm doing. Just relax before I get back into the hectic work schedule we got coming up, and we'll reveal some great news for you, Craig, when it's finally official and kind of everyone's made aware of it. But other than that, guys, I want to thank you for taking your time to listen and download our shows. Come on, listen, subscribe. If you're not watching us live, we do a podcast, so feel free to download those, share it, like it. We are on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook. I've been putting out more on Facebook page. I've been doing more on TikTok as well. So feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and hope you guys
updated graphics coming on the way here in the next couple weeks.
Yes, we do. We're waiting on that to get done, but looking forward to that as well. And I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend and relax before you start your work week next week. God bless, and remember,
keep it outspoken.